what's another word for a reflection? Okay, it is a mirror image, but it's also a what? If you take an image and you mirror it, what are you doing to it? You're flipping it, okay? So another word for a reflection is a flip. And I'm sure all of you did that this morning by looking in the mirror before you left. Maybe. Or maybe not, okay? Then we have a translation. And a translation, I'm just going to tell you, is a slide. And a rotation is a what? Turn. Good. Sorry. So those are the three we're going to talk about. So 3 transformations: rotation, reflection, and translation. So I want you to take one of your pieces of paper, and I want you to fold it in half, and I want you to fold it in half hamburger style. Hamburger style. Okay? Which is, you need 3 of them. Oops, okay. So you're going to fold it in half. Hamburger, which is actually vertical. Elementary teachers are now getting away from using hamburger and hot dog. Maybe it makes them hungry, I'm not sure. It does me.
Or not as fun.
Or not as fun, well, I do. So you're going to fold it vertical or hamburger style. Now what I want you to do for just a second is think about lines of symmetry. Okay, what would a line of symmetry do? Cut it in half, and what does it do to the image or what's on both sides? What about them?
They're equal.
They are equal. So a line of symmetry means you're going to have the same thing on both sides. So on this piece of paper that you just folded, the crease is the line of symmetry. Now I want you to think of capital letters. Capital. Name some capital letters for me that do not, or let's start with do have lines of symmetry. An A, C, B, D, F, E, not L, O, X, H, W, so you get it, okay? So now let's think of lines, or capital letters that do not have lines of symmetry. K does. And the reason I'm going to say it does is because, especially when we do capital, you've got the same, you should have, it's the lowercase that's different. You've got this here, so line of symmetry, it's going to be this way. It's going to be horizontal. Okay?
Oh. What's
Okay.
the line of symmetry in a capital A?
Yes, there is a line of symmetry in a capital A. Well, not that, but if it was right down the center, there you go, kind of. So no lines of symmetry.
L.
L,
P.
P, Q, yes. I was thinking of an O. R, Z, N. No, U has one.
The capital.
Like, yes. Oh, well, yeah, without a stem, you're going to have it right there. If you have a stem, I guess no. Okay, so are you with me on letters that do and don't have lines of symmetry? Okay, I want you to think of any letter you want, capital, that does not have a line of symmetry. No line of symmetry. If you need me to verify for you, I will. But what I want you to do is I want you to paint it on the left-hand side of your paper. Open it up, the one you just folded. Paint it on the left side. Now, I don't want you to paint it really teeny tiny, but you don't have to paint it from top to bottom. You know, just a nice size letter. No lines of symmetry. So paint a letter. Z works.
Okay, good job. I'm not an artist.
That's okay. I'm not either.
Artist major.
I am not an artist either.
I'm not an artist.
Or neither am I an artist major.
Art.
Are you making a cue?
Yeah, that's
Okay, good. Because I was gonna tell you no, it won't work.
I am.
Okay.
I am. I promise I am.
So we're painting a letter. Now, the reason I told you to paint a capital letter is because if I said to paint anything, some of you are artistic, and we would be here till tomorrow because you're painting a nice little pretty picture, and we don't have time for that, okay? So that's why I said choose a letter, paint it. Remember when you were in elementary school? And the teacher said, okay, we're gonna paint butterflies today, and you're gonna paint one side of the butterfly, and then what'd you do to it? You folded it over and made the other side the same. That's what you're gonna do right now. So you're gonna take the side that you did not paint on, and you're gonna fold it over onto the side that you did paint on, and you're gonna rub it in. If you wanna take the side you painted and flip it, that's fine. But you're going to put the two together and rub them in. And then you're gonna open it up. And for you can look up here so that you don't mess your paint up. But this is an example of a what? This is a reflection. We took this image and we flipped it over the line of symmetry. So this is a reflection, an example of a reflection. So if you want to write it, I know you all are very interested in the camera, but if you want to write it on there so that you will know, you might want to do that now. This is an example of a reflection. And if you want to, so that it doesn't get paint all over, if you want to close it back up and put it to the side, that will keep you from getting it all over your clothes. However, if you do get it on your clothes, it is washable paint. Now I want you to take another piece of paper, and I want you to fold it. We're going to go, no, but don't fold it yet, but we're going to go hamburger way, okay? But we're going to fold it like we would a letter, so we're going to tri-fold it. So that means you're going to have 2 folds, 3 sections, like you would fold a business letter, okay? Try to make them, try to make them as equal as possible. I mean, they don't have to be exact, but you don't want one really big and 2 little. Bergen. Like you're folding a letter. Like you're folding a letter. So you're going to. There you go, right about there. So you're going to fold one down about 1/3 of the way. Then you're going to fold the bottom up. Like you're folding a business letter or a letter to your friend, stick it in an envelope and mail it.
Bergen.
Third time's a charm, sweetheart. Okay, try it one more time. Down this way.
Everybody's done.
That's all right.
Not me, Bergen, don't worry.
It's okay. No, you're good. Let's do it just a little bit bigger.
Bergen.
You need to.
Did I say you were done? No, you're not done. There you go. Now fold the other one up.
Hey.
Like this?
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, here.
Okay. So when you open it up, you have 3 sections. Again, pick a letter that does not have a line of symmetry. It can be the same letter that you just used, or you may want to use a new letter. But you're going to paint it. You're going to need a little more paint this time. You're going to paint it on the left-hand section. So go ahead and paint a letter that does not have a line of symmetry on the left-hand section. Capital. I mean, we can do lowercase. I'm just making us all consistent here. You'll need a little more paint this time, because it must duplicate itself twice. When you finish with your letter, I want you to take it, and this one you have to do in order. I want you to take the piece that the section that you painted, and I want you to fold it over onto the middle and rub it in, and then open it up, and then take the piece that has not been painted and fold it over onto the middle and rub it in. Now, as you do that, you may realize that, you're fine. That's okay. That's all right. The blob will just carry over. It's fine. You may realize now, here, just gonna have. Yeah. So if you need to go back and kind of touch it up, you can. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you just want to be able to see what we have here. So when you finish, you will have something that looks like this. Now, I don't want you doing this to your paper. Mine is dry, so let me do it for you. Let me show you something. We just talked about a reflection. Okay, the first one we did was a reflection. And we took an image and we flipped it over the line of symmetry and we ended up with our reflection. Okay? Now we have two lines of reflection. This is a translation. Now let me tell you what a translation is. A translation is taking an image and sliding it over a line of symmetry and you end up with the same thing. So, for that reason, this, everybody look, this is a translation. We took this image, we slid it over this line of symmetry, and we ended up with the same thing. Now, because we painted, we ended up with that middle section, and I'm going to tell you how that works too. So, reflection, first one we did, image flipped over the line of symmetry. Translation, the image slid over the line of symmetry and it did not change at all. Now, look at this, because this is also a representation of a translation. If I take an image and I reflect it twice over what kind of lines? But what are they to each other? Parallel lines. I'm also going to get a translation. So if I take an image and I reflect it twice over a line, over parallel lines of symmetry, and that's key because we're going to talk about different kinds of lines here in just a second, then I will also get a translation. Okay? Are you with me? Yes. If you can take an image and just slide it across one line of symmetry and you get a translation. You can reflect an image twice over parallel lines and you get a reflection, a translation. Okay? So, but you have to reflect it twice over parallel lines. So far so good? All right, take your last piece of paper. Are you all doing okay in South Charleston? Are you following me?
A little bit.
Actually, it just dawned on me. You can no longer see me, can you?
Okay. We can't see it.
I'm sorry. I moved because we've got the camera down here. The image that you're going to get when we put it online will be much better. Can you see me now?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Okay, let me go back real quick and just show you. Here's my reflection. Here's my line of symmetry. Okay. I feel like Vanna. Here's my translation. My maiden name was White, so I kind of have half of it. We painted this, and then we folded and did this, and then folded and did this. So this is a translation, an image across a line of symmetry, and we end up with the same thing. Or I can reflect it twice over parallel lines, and I get a translation. Actually, I feel more like a flight stewardess because they're always going, 2 lines down the middle over here. Okay, so now we're going to take the third piece of paper. Forget I'm recording. This ought to be good. Take the third piece of paper and we're going to fold it like a greeting card. So we're going to fold it in half, hamburger or hot dog, it doesn't make any difference, and then do the other. So hamburger open and then hot dog, or hot dog open then hamburger. Crease it really good, and I would probably fold it back. Get those creases really good so that you're not going to mess up when you fold to paint. So fold it like a greeting card. Hamburger and then hot dog, or hot dog then hamburger, doesn't matter. Now, if this ends up on America's Funniest Home Videos, I'll share my money with you, okay? Again, pick a letter that has no lines of symmetry. No lines of symmetry. It can be the same one or a different one, no lines of symmetry. And I don't care whether you hold your paper vertical or horizontal, but I want you to paint the letter in the upper left-hand box.
It can be the same letter.
Yes, it can be the same letter. The top left-hand box, I don't care if you hold it vertical or horizontal. This one needs the most paint, and this is the last thing we're painting, so don't feel like you're gonna run out. This needs the most paint. Sorry, fell Charleston. While you're finishing that up, let me just tell you something. I'm going to push you today. I'm going to push you to get all 4 things done that I need to get done. I will make a quiz for Tuesday, but I won't give it until the end of class on Tuesday. That way, if you're thinking, oh my goodness, I still have a question about that because she went so fast, you've got the videos, and then you've got the recording, but I want to get us through it, and that way we can review it. Okay?
The test is next Thursday, right?
The test is next Thursday, and I think we'll be fine. Okay, so what I want you to do after you paint that letter is I want you to fold it one way or the other. I don't care, hamburger or hot dog first. Rub it in, then open it up and fold it the other way and rub both of them in. Okay, so fold it one way, rub it in, open it up, fold it the other way, rub them both in.
Oh my gosh, what is this? Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, that's good. Okay, now fold it the other way. Yeah. Yes, yeah. Mhm.
Yours looks so good.
It took her hours to get that. Don't know for you.
I was gonna say, I did it when I was younger, but I guess you all were younger too, or, I don't know. I guess I knew how much the paint was gonna smear, and so oh, sorry. Okay, so when you open it up, it looks like this. And I want you to listen to me, because this is a rotation. But listen very carefully. Remember when I said a translation was could be two reflections over parallel lines? A rotation is 2 reflections over what kind of lines? Perpendicular lines. Now, there are tons of different rotations. You could have a 20-degree rotation. You could have a 180 degree. You could have just about any degree you want. This is just a typical first lesson rotation with elementary, early, middle school students. Okay? So, here is the rotation. I'm going to say, if I start here, then if I reflect and reflect, this is the image I'm going to get. I could have also gone this way, reflect and reflect. I'm going to reflect twice over perpendicular lines. So where I start and where I end, those are the things I'm looking at. If I started here and I reflected this way and then this way, this is the image I'm looking for. So if I ask you on a test or a quiz to reflect something, to rotate something, I'm looking at where you started and what you ended with. I don't care what's here, and you're going to see that in just a second. We just got that because we painted. Okay? So where you start, you're going to reflect and reflect over perpendicular lines, and you can go either way. And the ending image is what I'm looking for. Any questions on the painting or anything about the 3 transformations? Don't quit yet. Okay, so let me go, because obviously we're going to be taking a test, right? And I can't, it's just going to be too much if we paint. So I need to show you how to do it on paper. Why won't you work? Okay. All right, so I could do one of 2 things, or yeah.
Dr. Lucas, can you switch the camera to the screen, using the screen right now?
Did that work?
No.
That didn't work? I don't know. That's what
No.
I've always done. Is it something that you all do on your end?
No.
Okay, give me just a second. Let me see, maybe I didn't share it. Now can you see it?
Yeah, now we can. Thank you.
I'm getting good at this. Okay, all right. So what I could do is I could do something like this, and I'm just going to use the letter P. I could say, reflect this image across the line. So what would, think in your head, what would it look like? Okay, so it'd look like that. And this is what I'm looking for you to give me. Okay? I could say, translate this image across this line. What would it look like? Okay, it would look like the same thing. I could say, rotate this image. Now, tell me where the image is going to be.
Bottom right.
It's going to be right here. This is what I'm going to look for. Now, if you in your head want to say, okay, and I know I'm pointing and you can't, but if I want to reflect this over here, it would look like this, and then this down here is going to look like that. You can do that. Or you can go this way and say, okay, if I reflect it here, it's going to look like this, and then when I reflect it over here, it's going to look like that. You can do that, but this is the only thing I'm grading right here. I don't care what you have here, and I don't care what you have here. You could be wrong here and here, and I'm not sure how you still get this right, unless you looked off your neighbor's paper, but please don't do that. But this is what I'm grading, this one right here, because that's where the rotation should end up. Does that make sense? All right, so I could ask it that way, or I could ask it this way.